What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for some more transfer target videos for you, and the last one of the series. I know you're very upset about that, but today we are looking at strikers. Obviously, we've been chasing a backup striker for many a year. We've had the likes of not Soldado, who came under the first choice, but the likes of Vincent Janssen, Vinicius, Lorente, Vinicius. I was about to say Vinicius Jr. I wish it was Vinicius Jr. But nah, we've had a few over the time. None have really worked out. But we're going to have a look at 6 different targets which we could potentially target this summer window and see what you guys think about them. And let's start off with Gabrielle Jesus of Man City. Obviously, he's been heavily linked with Arsenal for this summer transfer window. Me personally, I think he's a very good player. Can play on the right, can play up front. Very versatile player and has very good kind of ability to get goals, to grab assists as well. He's got 8 goals and 9 assists in his time in the Premier League this season. 4 goals in the Champions League as well, grabbing himself 1 assist in the Champions League. He's got a market value of around 45 million according to Transfermarkt, with his contract coming into his final year. But there are question marks over whether he will get enough game time for him to suffice being a move to Tottenham, seeing as if he moves to Arsenal, he'll be like literally the main man there. So those are the real question marks over him. Yeah, and he's going to have to compete with Harry Kane. He's going to have to compete with Dejan Kulusevski on the right-hand side if he wants to get in there. So it's going to be difficult. Obviously, in the 3-5-2, he could partner Kane up front, but then where does that leave Son? So it's a difficult one to envisage, as much as I really like him, and I think he'd be a brilliant alternative to Harry Kane. I can't think of too many backup strikers who are better than Gabriel Jesus who we can get. I don't see this being viable, considering the money we'd have to spend and him being happy to come to Spurs. The only thing in our favour is we do have Champions League football to offer him. And, you know, if Kane does get a big injury, he'll all of a sudden be a starting spot in the Champions League team. And we obviously have a lot of players, a lot of games. So there will be a lot of game time for him, just maybe not as much as Arsenal right now. So it's depends on what he wants, but given he's been sitting on the bench for large parts of his time at Man City, he probably, if he is going to move on, probably wants to be a main man somewhere, I would assume. So I don't know if Tottenham's the right place, but if we can get Vincent to come, it would be a good signing. Yeah, his agent has come out and said that he knows what he's doing, but just no one else knows what he's doing. So and Arteta, there's that link with Arteta there, so yeah. Doesn't look like he's going to come. Yeah, it doesn't look likely, but we'll see how that one plays out. He still has been linked with Spurs, so it's one to keep your eye on. Next up, we're going to look at Alexander Isak, who's a top player. He played really well in the Euros for Sweden, 22 years of age, probably knows Dejan Kulusevski quite well. He doesn't get that many goals, as many goals as you want your striker to get. He's played 32 games in La Liga for Sociedad this year, scoring 6 and assisting 2, which you really expect a better output. But he does have time on his side. Like I said, 22 years of age. For Sweden, he's played 34 games and got 9 goals in the making. He's a bit of a tricky customer, but I don't know if he's what we need right now. Well, last season he got 17 goals, so he probably proved last season in La Liga, and the season before that he got 9 goals. So he has shown he can score goals. I guess, but this season hasn't really been that effective in front of goal for one reason or another. Obviously, Kulusevski will definitely be able to tell us a lot more about him, and if the get him on the channel, then 100%. If definitely the coaching staff, if they want to know more about Isak Kulusevski, will know all about him. But he's one, whenever I've seen him play, he's impressed me. And I remember one game against Spain at the Euros where they drew 0-0, but he was brilliant. The whole game, holding play up, dribbling past defenders, getting shots on goal, all by himself. Yeah. So maybe surrounding around better players, he'll be better. And he is fairly young still. 22, yeah. So he's still good age to develop. But in January, they were talking crazy money, like 70, 80 million. I don't know if you want to pay that after 6 goals this season. You know, it's going to be difficult to justify that outlay. So the price is going to have to come right down. But if it does, I do think he could be a good signing for us. Yeah, Transfermarkt do value him at around 36 million. And if you can get someone like him for like 40, 45 million, that probably signifies good value with that age as well. Potentially, yeah. But if you're going to spend anything more than that, I'd probably say no thank you, to be honest. But moving on, let's talk about Lautaro Martinez
Obviously, the Inter chairman has said he is untouchable this summer. They do want to keep hold of him, which makes me think that it's probably not going to happen. But he's a top player, probably the best player in that position that we could probably get if we could get him this summer. He's an absolute star, very central to the Inter Milan team over the last couple of years. Got 21 goals this season, 3 assists in 35 games. Obviously, we nearly signed him last summer, but for one reason or another, that didn't happen. But I completely adore him as a player. I think he's unbelievable.
Yeah, I think it's not going to happen. I think it's unrealistic. He's had another stellar season. I think they let go of Lukaku, unless they somehow... If Chelsea want rid of Lukaku and Lukaku wants to go back, then maybe there's an opportunity to get Martinez through the door. But I think as things stand, he's their star player. He's worth so much to them. Did he sign the contract in the end last year? I can't remember.
I don't know if he signed the contract, but his contract goes until 2026.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he did sign it. It says date last signed October 28, 2021.
So he signed that contract last summer as well. I don't see Inter Milan letting him go unless it's like you're talking over 100 million. I'm thinking we're not going to pay that. I can tell you that for free. So as much as I'd love him, as much as I think he's an unbelievable player who would be an absolute star at Tottenham, I can't see this one happening.
All right, well, let's move on to the next target, and that is Darwin Nunes of Benfica, who's had an absolutely astonishing year for Benfica. Not just in the Portuguese league, in the Champions League as well. He's really produced against top sides. 26 goals in his 28 appearances with 4 assists in there as well. 6 goals in 10 appearances in the Champions League as well, getting on the score sheet against Liverpool. He's 22 years of age. He's an absolute star in the making. Uruguayan international, 2 goals in 8 appearances, played off the left a few times, has played as number 10 a few times, but predominantly he has played as the number 9 full-out striker up front. His market value with Transfermarkt is 36 million, and I think this would be an absolutely brilliant signing, but it has been his one breakout year, so we don't have a big sample size to go on.
And what happened the last time we signed the top goal scorer in the Portuguese league?
Yeah, you said he was top goal scorer, but he also didn't play that many games. It was a weird one with Carlos Vinicius.
Yeah, so I don't know. Look, I think Darwin Nunes, whenever I've seen him, has impressed me. The one thing as well is when Benfica played Liverpool, he looked pretty good. Yeah. And he did score, I think, at Anfield. So he looks like he definitely could be a player. And he's a big, strong lad as well. I do think he's still a bit raw, as much as he's been great. 26 goals, fair, like, got to say, fair play. Like, that's a lot of goals in
30
for the
goal contributions in 28 games.
Yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot, and he's really broken out. But Benfica, did they win the league in the end? I can't remember, but I think they're playing not the highest level out in Portugal, so there is some question marks there whether he would be that good if he came to the Premier League. But I don't know. I feel like the money being asked for him depends how much.
No, they finished third.
Yeah. Well, the money being asked for him is going to be big money, isn't it? Look, he did get 6 goals in Champions League. That's very impressive, and he's going to be much sought after. So it's definitely one I would think would be a good deal. But so I've got reservations about how good he would be in the Premier League. I do have a few. He does
have a big physique and very strong for someone of his age. And I think that he's not the slowest player. He's quite quick actually, and his finishing is absolute dynamite. So I mean, there's nothing watching him play that tells me he won't suit into the Premier League.
Vinicius is also big.
It's true. He was big, yeah.
Yeah, but he just didn't quite.
Vinicius hardly even played in the Premier League. That's the truth of the matter.
Never really got an opportunity, which is true. Which was harsh on him. I would like Darwin Nunes. I'm not saying I don't, but you're talking 50 million, probably, aren't you?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a big risk.
I think if we can get a deal done, I think it's a great player to bring through the door, especially at that age. He's got a big ceiling to him. But yeah, look, remains to be seen if what the actual price is going to be on him. But let's move on. Let's talk about another top striker. This one coming out of Napoli, and Victor Ossiemen, a top player who's had another great season. 14 goals and 5 assists in 27 games. In the Europa League, he's got 4 goals in 5 games and 1 assist as well. They signed him for a lot of money. I think it's around 80 million or something they signed him for. His market value here on Transfermarkt is actually 54 million. He's played on the left as well and played off the right, but predominantly a number 9. Contract ends in 2025. But with the money they paid for him, I I just find it hard to believe that we're gonna, overpay on that.
Yeah, and he doesn't regularly get over 20 goals. In all competitions, he gets close, but he's more of a 10 to 15 goal a season striker. And so if you're talking,
He's only 23 though.
No, yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. That's just what he is. And but if you're talking 80 plus million, that's ridiculous numbers. It goes to show how difficult it is to get a striker through the door. That's why we've had so much trouble in getting a good backup to Harry Kane, because you're looking at someone like Ossiemen. He's like, okay, he's not as good as Harry Kane, and he can be good backup. Then you're like 80 million. It's like, oh bloody hell, how. That's why it's so difficult.
It just shows how much more ridiculous that Man City offer for Harry Kane was last year.
Yeah, there was only 150 because all these other strikers,
Well, they didn't even offer 150, did they? They offered 100.
Yeah, exactly. So ridiculous. Yeah, absolutely right. Ossiemen would be a very good alternative to Kane. Lots of pace, decent finishing as well. I just don't think we're going to spend anywhere near what Napoli will want for him.
All right, and let's go to last but not least, Gianluca Scamaca of Sassuolo. He's had a breakout year this year. 16 goals, 36 in 36 games. 23 years of age. His market value has not gone through the roof, but definitely massively improved this year. He's now 27 million, when as opposed to last year was 18 million. Got his caps for Italy this year as well, 3 caps now. And he's really performing well in Serie A, and one of the shining lights in terms of strikers in Serie A this year. And people were even saying, I remember people were saying last year that he could be even better than Vlahovic one day, which is absolutely mad to say. But I haven't seen him play too many times. I've just seen the numbers coming through and him scoring a lot of goals. His contract does end in 2026, so I think he would command quite a high fee at that age.
But not as much as the others, I don't think.
Probably
Especially
not.
playing for Sassuolo, you might be able to get him for a bit of a cheaper fee. He's a very big, tall target man. One of the best headerers, I think, for a striker in Serie A. I think, yeah, he's like 6'3" or something. Like, he's very tall. 16 league goals last season. I think he definitely could be one to look at. Definitely provides a different kind of option. But unlike the other forwards, he's not as versatile. He can't really drift out to the left or the right like maybe Ossiemen or Nunes or someone like that could potentially do. So if that's what they're looking for, it's going to be difficult. But in terms of if you want an alternative to Kane as a striker for a reasonable-ish price...
I still think you're looking at 40, 50 million for him.
I don't think you'd have to go as high as 50 for him.
How much do you reckon?
I think, 35 to 40, I reckon.
I think more between 40 and 50, but look, it's only 10 million indifferent that we're talking about.
Yeah, but for the other strikers, you're looking 70, you know what I mean? It's big money. I think, like, if we do have a war chest, that's maybe an outlay that won't be as... That wouldn't be as detrimental. Like, for example, Ossiemen scored 14 goals last season. We're talking 80 million for him.
Yeah, I don't think, like, Nunes would be as high as that, but I think it will be higher than Scamaca, but I still think I might just side a bit with Nunes over Scamaca.
I think Nunes probably fits us better in terms of what we want, but the price is going to be ridiculous, especially because there might be a bit of a bidding war. If there will there be one for Scamaca, I'm not 100% sure.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Let's have an overlook of what strikers we've spoken about today. So that's Gabrielle Jesus of Man City, Alexander Isak of Sociedad, Lautaro Martinez of Inter Milan, Darwin Nunes of Benfica, Victor Ossiemen of Napoli, and Gianluca Scamaca of Sassuolo. So are you siding with Scamaca here?
It's different. I mean, I think he's the only one who's realistic in terms of price. I don't see us giving the big outlays to any of the other. Maybe Jesus potentially, but I think in price, Jesus I think we can afford, but I don't see him wanting to come. Isak I think is just ridiculous. If we're talking about 70 million for him or 80 million for him in January, I mean, even if you're talking 50, 60, it's a bit ridiculous. Lautaro Martinez, I think we would be prepared to pay big money for him, but they'll probably want even more than we're prepared to pay. So I don't think he's realistic. Nunes, United are after him, potentially. Could be a bit of a bidding war for him. I think he definitely suits us, but if it's over 60, 70 million, don't know. Ossiemen, I think, is unrealistic. So I think it does just leave Scamaca for me out of that list.
Yeah, it's interesting. I like Scamaca. Obviously, if kind of nothing was any object, I'd go for Lautaro Martinez. That's obviously a no-brainer there. But in terms of everyone apart from Martinez, if money was no object, I might go for Nunes, you know. I really like him as a player. Every time I've seen him play, I've been super impressed. Scamaca, I haven't seen play that much, but with the attributes that he's got, the amount of goals that he's got, does seem like good value for the money with the kind of outlay that he would command. So I wouldn't mind Scamaca, as I think he provides a different option, can play maybe the Llorente role as well. So yeah, I think Scamaca would be good, but my number one would probably be Darwin Nunes. And hopefully it would be a bit cheaper than maybe the prices that we're talking about here, but remains to be seen. But let me know in the comment section below, which striker would you want through the door, and if we've missed one out, put them in the comment section below. That is the end of the Transfer Target series, and we'll be back with some more content very soon. Thank you everyone for watching today. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.